While you guys are joining, you're very welcome to use the chat that we have to tell us a little bit about yourself, about your business. We're going to base the examples that we're giving today on your businesses. So, for example, if you have um, uh, like a beauty salon business or a pet sitting business, you can start using the chat to start telling us a little bit about yourself and about your business. And I'm going to start with just sharing my screen. Um, so we have this in the background until we start.
We'll open the chat up in just a bit, and then we will start taking a look at all your answers. Um, we're going to give about 2 to 3 more minutes for more participants to join. We still see that the numbers are going up. Um, I'll just take a minute to say that we're really happy for all of you who joined us today. Um, it really is great that you're taking the time and have taking this hour for yourselves to learn more and get the right tools that you need for your business. So that is great, and we're happy to have you here.
Yeah, we have a really interesting webinar today on some financial basics and how to track your business finances. So we'll wait just a few minutes. The chat is already open. You can already feel free to write a little bit on the chat about yourself. Maybe I'll even move forward to the next slide. While we wait for some more business owners to join us, please share your name, your business name, what does your business do, and where do you operate from? This is, by the way, a great opportunity to connect with other business owners. You might find someone who does something very similar to you. And it's always great to create a sense of community and to get to know more business owners that might be struggling or dealing with the same things that you are.
Also, before we get started, just want to mention some guidelines that we want to go over. First of all, this session is recorded, so we will make sure to email you the session tomorrow, along with some of the resources that we will present to you here today. So don't worry if there is something that you missed or that you're unsure, you will have the full recording. We do recommend if you have a notepad and pen nearby, feel free to write down anything that kind of raises some questions for you or that you want to save for later. Um, and I do just want to cover one last thing before we get started. This session is for educational purposes. Andy and I are not CPAs, and therefore we are unable to give professional financial advice, but we are covering the basics and fundamentals of what small business owners should and need to know. Obviously, if you have some more specific questions that are um, made for your business and for your specific case, we do recommend consulting with a professional. Um,
Yeah. I'll start reading just some of the businesses we have here. I see we have several consulting businesses, which is really, really great. Some coaching. We have a few health and wellness businesses, which is also great. Keep writing your businesses because we will base our examples on your businesses. So we have strategy consulting. We have beauty care, beauty salon, hair and makeup. We have people from all over the States, which is great. And what else do we have here? Cleaning services, coaching, a lot of spa. That is really cool. We have a lot of different types of businesses here, and it's great that the chat is active. We will keep taking looks at the chat and get back. So feel free to write there as much as you want, and stay active with us on the chat. We will take a look every now and then to see your questions there. Okay, that's great. What do you say? Should we start or do you want to give it a few more minutes? What do you think, Adi?
1 second. All right, we can continue.
So, okay. So we want to start with a question.
Mhm.
Um, we have a poll that we will launch. We launched now.
Yes.
We want to know how confident do you feel about your current business finances? And be honest, it's okay to be extremely confident and it's okay to not be confident at all and to be unsure completely.
There's
Every
no right or wrong answer. Every answer is acceptable. We just want to see a sense of who's joined us today and what level we are currently on. And it'll be also nice to see how others feel. So keep on bringing your answers.
Yeah, so we see a lot of needs work, which is good. That's why you're here for. Also, a few unsures, moderate. We don't have anyone who's rock solid yet. So that's good because we're going to have a lot of information here to share that will help you, hopefully, to kind of go more to the feeling good, rock solid part of this scale.
All right. So you can all see the results now. We can see 47% voted that they still need some work, and 22% are unsure at all about how they feel about their current business finances. So it is great to see for those of you who are unsure or feel like you need work. Obviously, you are not alone. It is perfectly normal, especially for those of you who are maybe at the beginning stages of your business, to not feel super confident about where to start and how to begin when it comes to your business finances. So, thank you for answering, everyone, and for being honest. And now we will dive into our session.
Okay. So, what will we be covering today? So we will start with just simple financial terms. We will understand key business finances concepts in everyday language. Some of those terms you probably heard, and you're like, wait, I know this, but I'm not sure exactly what this means. We are here to simplify everything. We're going to go through pretty briefly. So even if these are things that you know, stay tuned. We will also talk about things that might surprise you or might be new to you. But we will start with just kind of laying out some general terms that are really important to know when it comes to your business finances. The next is cash flow basics. We will learn actionable tips to improve your cash flow. We will also send you a spreadsheet that you can take a look and use for your business. We will talk about different ways to track your cash flow and why it's important, of course, and also how to do a cash flow as a small business and as a first steps and why it's important and how to, kind of adapt to where your personal business journey is. And we know that each business is very, very unique, and you need to find for you what works for you and your business. So it's going to be, it's okay to take whatever we share here and kind of adapt it, and everything is flexible. You can take whatever you feel is right for you and your business. There's no right or wrong answer here, or there is no one way to do this correctly. Yeah, go ahead, Adi.
Um, for budgeting 101, we're going to discover how to create and manage an effective budget. I just wanted to mention that for this, we will also have a spreadsheet and some examples of how you can do this. Um, and
Yeah.
obviously share it with all of you afterwards,
Mhm.
which,
And
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and of course, we'll have a lot of resources that we will send you both throughout here on the chat, and you will also receive everything on email tomorrow, including a recording of this conversation, of this webinar, sorry. So you will have everything in your email, so you can also feel free to rewatch it if you missed something. And as Adi said at the beginning, just a disclaimer, this webinar is part of our business owner coaching programs. We're not CPAs. So this content is not official financial advice. These are just ways or tips or guidelines for you to better understand how to manage your business. I will also take this opportunity and say that we have monthly workshops about different subjects. Every time it's something else. We have about marketing, about how to utilize AI, about social media pages, about how to build your website correctly and what should be on there, about getting new clients, different aspects about market research. So stay tuned on our emails. So about our next workshops.
Yes, there will be much more to come. All right, so now we will get into cover those key financial terms that Andy mentioned in the previous slide. We will start to obviously first talk about income. Income is the money that you earn from selling your products or your services. Obviously, each of you, depending on the type of business that you're managing and how your income is being received into your business and how you're actually making money. Expenses. Oh, okay. Expenses is the costs that you are paying to run your business. So this can be anything from different supplies, materials, equipment, rent, utilities, anything that you're paying that is essentially used towards your business or the operation of your business. Profit, this is what remains when we subtract the expenses from our income. So essentially, we would want to have the delta as a profit. We obviously don't want our expenses to be greater than our income. It obviously doesn't always, it's easier said than done, but if we're looking just at profit, that is how we will calculate it.
I will also add to what Adi said that a lot of times business owners can get a bit confused between income and profit. And especially in those first few months of working on your business, because you don't necessarily calculate all your expenses. And you kind of just take them for granted because you're also using a lot of times your own investment or your own personal funds that you've invested into this business. So it kind of feels like everything is a profit because there isn't that clear separation between the income, expenses, and profit. And this is something that is really, really important to track from day one, so you can better understand how to price your products as well. Because once you know what your expenses are, you can say, okay, wait, I sold, if I, let's say, sell physical goods, I sold 10 products this week or this month, and I only made $10 in total or $20 in total. That means maybe my pricing is not done correctly. So it's really important to have these figured out from day one, even if you're first basing your business on your personal funds.
Mhm. Exactly. All right, so we're gonna talk a lot about cash flow. So cash flow is the movement of the money that is coming in and out of your business. So this is used to cover any day-to-day costs. You want to use this to also plan for what is expected. The better we can plan, the better we can manage our cash flow for anything that is in the future, not just happening right now. Um, Budget is how we will be able to plan how we spend and save our money. So again, this is also great for managing our day-to-day finances and also for planning ahead. We want to know how to budget ourselves, how to budget any of our business expenses and track our income also in the short and long term. And that will also help us with our financial planning and how we can set clear and financial goals that we will also be able to reach and track and see our progress as we go day by day and week over week.
So now we're going to dive a bit deeper to cash flow. We're going to talk a bit about that. The definition of cash flow is movement of money in and out of your business in real time, without a specific reporting period, sorry, meaning that it's all the money that is currently moving through your business. And that is really important to keep track from day one, when you're having your business. And the focus here is on actual transactions. It's about when cash is received and when cash is paid out. Also, is this a term? This is probably a term that you've heard before. It's a term that is really important for a lot of business owners. And again, the purpose of it is to show your immediate financial position. That way, you know how much money you currently have in order to invest or reinvest in different aspects of your business. It can also help you understand and manage your finances better to make sure that you can pay your employees, that your funds operations are done correctly, that you can pay your suppliers, and that you have enough money in your business. So cash flow can be a bit challenging to track, and that's why we created a spreadsheet sheet for you. I will say before I move on, it can be a bit overwhelming to see this spreadsheet. There are a lot of different options to track your cash flow. We will start with showing you the manual way of a spreadsheet that we also will send you a template as part of this webinar, of course. But there are also a lot of platforms that you can use to do that, that do it automatically for you, that you can just connect your bank account and it's super duper easy. And Dee will mention those in a minute after I show the template that we have here. And I will also say that it is okay if you don't know what your cash flow is at this point. It is perfectly normal for small business owners, especially when you're relying on your personal income, not to have a clear understanding or tracking of your cash flow. What is important is that you define your products and services and pricing and track them throughout the way. Track your essential expenses. And eventually, you'll get to a place where your cash flow will be more effortless. But until you get there, and it's okay, again, especially as you rely on your personal funds throughout those first few months of opening a business, that can be very, very challenging, not to have a clear understanding of your cash flow, but we still really, really recommend tracking it. Uh, all of that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen on the spreadsheet. And again, there's another option. So it doesn't have to, you don't have to use this one. They're also automated tools. So I'm going to open the spreadsheet in another page just so you can see it better.
And I'll just remind everyone, and those of you who maybe missed the beginning, you will all receive an email tomorrow with the attachment of this spreadsheet. So don't worry if you're unable to see exactly everything that appears in every single cell. You will have it all available for you tomorrow. So feel free to write down anything. And other than that, you will receive it exactly as you see it here.
And also, we just sent you, Tal just sent you the link of the template to download. So you can also just download it now. We will also send it on email if you want to play around with it. We recommend listening now and playing around with it later, but whatever works for you. Okay, so we have here three sections, okay? We have the cash receipts, we have our cash payments and operation expenses. And then at the bottom, and then we have additional expenses. And then at the bottom, we have our total cash payments, our net cash, and our month ending cash position. So we're going to start with the beginning balance, and it's okay if your beginning balance is zero. This is the money you currently have that you're starting your month with. And we have several tabs here. So the first tab, the cash flow overview, you don't need to touch anything. Once you fill out those months, and I will share an example in a minute, it will automatically update this tab, the first tab. So this is only for you to track what's going on, and then you can have a clear overview of month one, month two, month three. The reason it's not January, February, March is because a lot of business owners don't start their business just in January, and we wanted to give you the flexibility of changing. Of course, you can feel free to manually change month now to January, or not to January, obviously, but to March or to April or to whatever works for you. So let's say if I go to month one, sorry, and I see here my beginning balance. Let's say I don't have a beginning balance right now because it's zero, because I just started and I'm not sure, I don't have a lot of income just yet. I don't have a lot of a balance just yet, and I'm not sure what it is. So I'm going to start here with adding my cash receipts, meaning all the money that gets into my business. So let's say I had sales of $150. So I'm just going to type in 150, and it will automatically change the total cash receipts to $150. And let's say I got a tax refund of $70, and I got customer account collection, let's say of $200. Okay, that's a really good first month for me as a business owner. But let's say these are the income that I had. These are the cash receipts that I had. And then this will just sum all of those numbers up automatically, so you don't need to do anything. And now I want to say how much money I have, what expenses I have for my business. So let's say I sell homemade, handmade beauty care products. So my direct product or service costs, let's say I bought essential oils or wax or lotions that I mix in. So let's say this cost me like $40. And then for supplies, it cost me $20. So here I see the total cost of goods sold would be $60 that are taken out of those $420 that I made. And then here I can see my operating expenses. These are really, really good to have. Just if you have, let's say, for a lot of service providers, you can a lot of times, by the way, put your rent or lease or loans, you can put them on your business, and they can be an actual deduction for your business. So you can put those expenses on your business as well. So let's say for rent, I would do $50 a month. And then let's say I have insurance, it will be $30 a month. Okay. Of course, you can add whatever works for you. There's a lot of options here and a lot of other options where you can also change to what is relevant. Each business is unique. This is a template where we tried to match as much as we can for most business owners, but of course, feel free to change here and adapt to what works for you. And then here, if we have any additional expenses, anything else that you just like income tax expense or any other expense that you might need to have. And then it will automatically show you your total cash payments of everything that you put down in this sheet. And then your net cash change with it, which is your cash receipts minus your cash payments. Okay, and then here you can see it according to where exactly you're standing now in this month. And then once you do that for each month, you can do it month two, month three. Again, feel free to change the names to whatever month you're starting with. So this can be, it's already at the end of March, so this can be April, for example. And then it will automatically see here, it was zero, all zeros at the beginning when I just shared my screen. But now here we can see 420, which is the same number we saw here of the receipts I added. So that way it will automatically calculate where your business is standing, and you can automatically have all of this information, which is really important. By the way, this will make tax season so much easier for you to just have all of those things working out for you and have them organized. And also, the reason we created the quarterly estimations is because some business owners might have to um, give an estimation of their taxes and of their income for their business. So this will also help you understand where you're standing throughout the year. So that's a great way for you to track to better know where your business is standing.
I'll also just add that another important thing to input into your mindset is to find time to do this. If you go for the manual and use our spreadsheet, that is perfectly fine. You just need to make sure that you set aside time once a week or once a month. That's like at the least, to put in all the information and to invest the time so that everything is accurate and that you make it something that is an ongoing and not just remember when it's tax season or when something urgent comes up. I think that's one of the biggest takeaways that it really should be an ongoing operation. However, there are many tools out there that really help us automate this since it is time consuming and, technology these days, there's so many ways to do it that will just make our lives so much easier. And one of those tools, there's many out there for financial management, whether it's for small businesses or any personal accounting that you need. And one of those tools is actually available through Taylor Brands. We have an invoices and bookkeeping tool for those of you who maybe have not seen it yet or used it yet, or anyone who has not really used our platform yet. We welcome you all to take a look at some of the options that are available for you. So basically, what is the best about using an online tool is that you have the option to connect your bank account to this tool. And what happens is that it is automatically synced with any income that you have in this account that you're connected and all of your expenses. So you really always have a live update of where you stand in terms of your cash flow because it is connected to your account. So it will calculate it automatically. You will be able to tag your expenses as you go along, whether they're business expenses or obviously some of your expenses are personal, and not everyone starts right away with having separate bank accounts. So that is a great tool and it will save a lot of time. It might not be for everyone, but we do recommend giving it a try, and we will talk more later about how you can access this tool through us.
Yeah, I will also say that we got, if you haven't used your free trial yet, it has a 30-day free trial. We highly recommend, again, for those of you who feel like the spreadsheet, I'll reshare it, is a bit overwhelming because it is a lot. And I think what always we need to think about as business owners is how much time will it cost me and my time to fill this out? So let's say if I have only a few sales, it might not be too much. But if I'm planning to grow my business and to have a lot of sales and to have a lot of different customers, so a tool, something like that will be manual. And manual a lot of time takes time. So a lot of business owners prefer some sort of automated tool. I did see someone here in chat said using AI tools for AI agents for this. I personally am not familiar with a specific AI tool. We do have another session about how to utilize AI for your business. And that's going to be another webinar on how to specifically work with AI. But for those of you who mentioned ChatGPT, I wouldn't 100% count on only something like that. I would also use another tool or another feature to look into those types of things because it's your finances and you want to be as sure as possible when it comes to that. And a great value of this as well is just for you can also generate invoices. So once you got money in, it will also automatically, you can collect payments from your customers, which is all automated. There's several different tools like that. This is the tool at Taylor Brands. Take a look. You can do your research and do, of course, whatever works best for you.
I'll also add that using an automated tool, you can continue to the next slide. It's fine. Using an automated tool really helps you be less prone to errors. Once everything is connected to your bank account and there is the option to um, get real live access to the data that is available through your bank account, it really gives you a complete picture of your finances in real time without all the manual work, which can also open more areas where you can make mistakes or miss an income, miss certain expenses, and that way you can capture everything live. And there is the option to automate the reports. So, for instance, in terms of specifically cash flow, our tool offers the option to generate a real-time report of where you stand in your cash flow within a specific period of time that you can customize. So that is a great way to follow your cash flow when using such tools.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that it just does it easily.
Yeah.
You can automatically get your cash flow, and then if you need it for tax season or for anything like that, it's super easy to just one click and it's generated, which is great.
All right, so we're gonna talk about some tips that you can use for healthy cash flow. So the first one is to invoice promptly. This means that you want to send your invoices. So this is any customers that you're working with, whether it's customers who purchased any of your products or maybe your services. You want to send your invoices as soon as possible after completing a specific sale to shorten payment cycles. So it doesn't matter which invoicing method you use, whether it's manual or through an automated tool, you want to be sure to invoice everything immediately and set up payment reminders because you don't want to find yourself in a situation where a certain payment is expected and it hasn't been uh, seen in the specific payment cycle. So, for example, with our invoice and bookkeeping tool, you can even schedule some of the automated reminders to make sure that all of those payments are received on time. You don't want to be in a situation where you see yourself with missed payments. This makes it much, much easier to track those invoices.
By the way, it's also less embarrassing, I feel like, when it's an automated, if a client didn't pay you because they forgot. So it can be a bit awkward to text them, hey, you haven't paid me yet.
Mhm.
It's a bit awkward while when it's just automated and they get an email or they get a message from the platform. It is a lot easier. And I did see another question on the chat, how to get to the Taylor Brands platform. So if you go to your Taylor Brands account, you will see one of the options will say invoices and bookkeeping. Once you click on that, you can just get started with your free trial. Take a look. It's great. It's great both for your personal and business needs. And it really helps to keep everything organized. And as Adi said, it can definitely help you generate those invoices super, super easily. Also to collect payments from customers and make sure everything is organized because we don't want to make mistakes here when it comes to money. And we don't want to make mistakes with the IRS. So that is really, really important to make sure you're tracking everything both from a legal perspective and for yourself to know how much money you've made and to know where your business is standing so you can better understand what are your growth avenues.
Yeah. And with that, sorry, with the invoices option that we offer in our tool, you can really customize those invoices. So you can have your business name, and if you have a logo, you can make it look super professional. Obviously, automate those messages so you can avoid, as Andy said, some awkward situations. It really is a great way to invoice and
Um,
continue.
let's go over a few more tips.
Mhm.
Um, review payment terms. This one is really important, and I feel especially when you're just starting a business, it's hard to remember that you might have some power to deal or to kind of have a bundle with your suppliers. Make sure you have favorable terms. Feel free to ask questions your suppliers if you have like any ongoing suppliers. You can definitely try and understand when is the best date for you to purchase from them according to where you are throughout the month, according to your cash flow. Understand what you can do to maintain a favorable cash balance. So, for example, if you know that usually most of your income comes towards the end of the month or the beginning of the month, try to manage your expenses around that. Or if you know you're supposed to have a big sale, try to manage your expenses around that just so you have a healthy cash flow and a healthy cash balance. Um, so that one is important. The second one is manage your expenses. As we said, regularly review and cut unnecessary costs. A lot of times we will just keep buying stuff that we don't necessarily need anymore, that we don't use them as much as we thought we would, and we just keep paying for them. This can also happen a lot with kind of like fixed costs that we pay every month. So it's just really important to track these down and understand what we can do to try to minimize them. And the fact that you're managing and tracking your expenses will help you understand where can you save on those expenses. Because when you just swipe your credit card here and there and here and there, a lot of times we tend not to be extremely mindful of where our money goes. So one of the goals of this cash flow is to be more mindful and understanding of where our money is, and then work from there and manage our money better.
Another option that is given to you when you use a tool such as our invoices and bookkeeping is that it requires you to go into your account and tag your expenses. So, what does that mean? If you go into your account, after obviously you connected your bank account and all your expenses will appear within the account, you will be able to see every single expense. And mark it as whether it's a personal expense, if you went shopping or you did groceries or anything that you decide to do, or if it is an expense that went towards your business expenses. And we will want to look differently at each type of expense. And just the act of going into your account and tagging the expenses and deciding where it belongs to is a great way to also help you manage and understand your cash flow and where everything is coming from.
Yeah, that is very, very true. And the last tip here, and then we're going to move to another subject which relates to this tip, is forecast regularly. It's really important to try and always predict your cash flow ahead of time. This will help you stay more organized and also understand, well, okay, if I don't see any, let's say, income that I'm expecting to have in the next few weeks or few months, if let's say I'm a service provider and I work on contracts and I don't currently have a contract that I will see will bring me money for my business in the next few months. Maybe I need to invest a bit more in my marketing, or maybe it's time to boost my social media pages to try and get more people interested in my type of service, or maybe to do a referral program, or if you see that you don't have a lot of expenses now and you do have a lot of income, to try and think how you can reinvest that money. So this brings us to our next subject, which is budgeting.
Budgeting. All right, so let's talk budgeting, guys. So as you can see here, a budget is simply a forecast of your future income and expenses. So basically, it's sort of like a roadmap that tells your money where to go rather than just going with the flow and wondering where it went. It is a great way to help us predict the roadmap of what we are expecting to do with our money. All right, so we're going to take a look at this budget sheet that we've put together for you. So this is the second attachment that you will receive, both in the chat and, as we mentioned, in the email that you will receive tomorrow. So once again, feel free to take a look at it now or download it tomorrow. So we're going to open up, thank you, Andy. We're going to open the budget template and start going over it. All right, so the first thing that we want to do is list our expected income. So we want to start with, oh, can you, okay, sorry, my screen is not zoomed in. We're going to start with the income. Where Andy is sharing her screen, but I'm explaining it, so we're trying to manage it somehow. All right, so in terms of income, we want to look at, first of all, our personal salary. It's very small on my screen. This is where we can input your salary. So, for instance, if you are managing a 9 to 5 job, thank you, this is perfect. Uh, if you're managing a 9 to 5 job and you have a personal salary, this is a great place to input it because you can use it as a forecast of what you're expecting in, for instance, January, because specifically now we're looking at January. So let's say
$1,000?
dollars sounds good. And I also want a forecast of my business income. So in some cases, it might start as zero if I'm at the beginning, maybe of my business um, journey and I'm not maybe making any income yet. But let's say we're not at the beginning and let's do another 1,000 for my business income. And in some cases, you might have another sources of income, and this is a great place where you can put it. Let's mark it as zero.
Zero, you cannot put anything at all. It will also work either way.
Yes. And then we will continue to our expenses. So here you can see the list of expenses, anything from operational supplies, which we talked about that a little bit before. It can be equipment or any office supplies, to transportation and maybe your permits and licenses and your LLC formation costs that you did through Taylor Brands. And maybe any other payments that you have for your utilities and there's so many expenses that your business can have, and this is where we would want to put in what we're expecting. So that is the forecast. So this obviously might not always be an exact estimate of what it will be. It should be as close as possible. And, obviously things can change, but it will be the closest estimate that we can make, whether it's monthly or quarterly revenue. This sheet is planned in a monthly matter, but if you prefer to input the information quarterly, that is also fine. So we're going to also list the fixed and variable expenses. So just so we can set the line straight for everyone. Fixed expenses, such as rent, for instance, are expenses that don't change much. So basically, we can forecast them pretty easily because they're fixed. So they should, in most cases, be the same month over month. Whereas variable expenses, such as utilities or other materials, can fluctuate and they can change month over month. So we want to assign different targets for marketing, payroll, or other types of expenditures. Um, we want to track and adjust. So this is where we can, do we want to place some expenses?
Yeah, so let's say we have our forecast and our actual expenses. So as Adi said, it's really important to kind of separate those fixed expenses, then those variable expenses. Let's say I have a loan or a loan payment that I know I'm paying, let's say $150 a month. Um, and rent, I know $100. And for my website, let's say we're gonna do another $10. I don't know. And then these are my forecast of the expenses. And then after we did this, what we can do is just wait till the end of the month. Now we estimate our expenses to be 260. And you know what, let's for the hell of it do here $1,000 for or $100 for it's a lot. $1,000. Let's say we're going to do $100 for incorporation and accounting fees. Let's do the $1,000 here. So I see I have $2,000 for a total income, and then I have $1,300 of expenses. That leaves me with a net income of $640. Okay, so for me, let's say I feel like I was wanting to get more, so I can actually change my forecast here too, right? I can decide either maybe to not use my accountant this month and maybe use a different option, or I can decide if I had some other like website or something like that. I don't want to pay that this month. I can try to play around with where my money is. Or I can say, okay, I have $640 extra. I actually want to invest them in my marketing expenses. So let's add here $600 just so I can play around with this. So this is a great way for you to also understand what your money will look like at the end of the month and rebudget it according to what you would like to do.
This, once we have a clear vision of what our forecast is, we will also want to see what the actual income and expenses are. When we have the actual income and expenses, it will help us track the next month's forecast. So basically, each month's forecast will be based on the previous actual income and expenses, just so that we have a clear vision of where we stand in terms of the money that is incoming versus the expenses that we have month over month. So as the months go on, it will be easier for us to make a forecast and make those adjustments as needed. So as Andy said, if you want to put more effort in your marketing services and you maybe weren't able to do that in the previous month, you might be able to do so this month if you adjust and continue to track those expenses.
So just if we finish this example, let's say I got a bonus from my personal salary, I got $1,200, and then for my business income, I actually got less than what I expected. I sold only for $500. And then so let's say the website was a fixed cost, incorporation was a fixed cost, accounting fee. I did not pay that much. I got my accountant to give me a discount. And for my marketing expense, I actually ended up paying way, way, way more. Let's do this. Loan payment, I was probably pretty accurate. And for the rent, I was probably accurate because I knew what I'm paying for rent each month. And now I see that my forecast was actually $360 dollars less than what I actually expected. So this helps me understand, okay, I was off track. I miscalculated something. Let's look into where I made a mistake and try to understand how I can do better for next month or how I can rebudget or reorganize my finances. Now, this is really, really important to do, especially for business owners just starting out and taking the first steps, because opening a business, there are a lot of expenses, especially at the beginning. You need supplies and you need marketing expenses and to try to understand what are the best ways for you to invest your money. So this will definitely help you have a clear understanding of what you can do with your business and where you should invest your money. And these are just examples. Feel free to add here anything or change or adapt. As we said at the beginning, each business is unique and not everything fits everyone. It could be that you have different expenses here that are very, very important for your business. So feel free to change this and use them and adapt whatever works for you and your business.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to go back here. So we went over the budgeting plan. Now, did you want to go over some strategies for financial success?
Yes, we're going to go over some practical strategies that all of you can adopt and start using for your businesses. So, the first strategy that we're going to talk about is, and we mentioned this already, but we're going to emphasize this, is to track every expense. So, we want to keep a close eye on every single dollar that you spend. Keeping this a habit and being consistent in terms of logging all of your expenses is really such an important part of managing your finances. So, as we said, you can use a spreadsheet, paper receipts, or an app such as our invoice and bookkeeping tool to do so. So just doing this helps you spot different patterns. Maybe if you have some unexpected costs or you see a lot of impulse buys, and to address them before they cause different issues on your budget.
Mhm.
All right, so we want to go into the next strategy, which is to set aside a cash reserve. So, as we all know, there is always unexpected costs. We can't always expect them, but it can be anything from maybe an equipment that broke down and you are in need of having a replacement right away and having that cost that you maybe did not expect, or maybe an urgent project arises and you need to put in a huge payment on something that you want to invest in, or maybe a specific critical order. There's so many things that can come up, and we want to be prepared for anything that arises as much as we can. So even if it's just saving a small amount each week, we want to be able to put aside those cash reserves so that in case anything urgent does come up, it doesn't hurt us in a way that will really disrupt our regular cash flow.
I will also connect this to a question that someone asked here on chat about business credit. We might have a separate webinar for business credit because that is a big, important part of maintaining a healthy business. But once you always have a cash reserve, and while you're tracking your expenses and understanding when exactly each payment is due, it will be also easier to maintain a healthy and good credit score for your business. Um, some business owners prefer having a separate business credit score, a separate credit score, sorry, for their business. Some just mix it with their personal. There are a lot of benefits for either one of those options. We will have another webinar focused on that, so stay tuned on our emails. Hopefully in the next few months, we'll do one on credit scores, but it is really important to track your expenses and to also track when each payment is due. And to make sure you're paying each payment on time, and having that type of spreadsheet, both of the spreadsheets that we sent out to you here, and of course, you'll get them on the email, will also help you do that and maintain a healthy credit.
Yes. All right. The next strategy is, and we talked about this a little bit, negotiate and barter. So we recommend always talking to the different vendors and suppliers that you're working with to see if there's anything that can be done, for example, in exchange for free or discounted services. So, for example, if you want to use um, a service and you're offering your service on behalf of that, that is a great way to negotiate. Or maybe just having a simple conversation with someone that you work with on a regular basis to offer a better rate. Maybe if you can pay earlier, or if you can buy in bulk, or maybe commit to a longer contract than originally planned. There's different ways that you can offer flexibility in terms of payment to reduce some expenses that maybe you didn't expect or that were greater than what you initially planned on. Um, and certain vendors offer better rates, so don't be shy to explore different vendors and see if there's better pricing offers for different things that you need.
And I will also add, they're business owners just like you. They also have an intention of making a sale and they want to get money in their business. So, as Adi said, try to look for different vendors, try to negotiate better terms. A lot of vendors or suppliers, if you tell them, hey, listen, I will pay you for in advance for a few months if I get any discount, they might need it for their cash flow that they're probably tracking. So feel free to go through that.
And the last strategy that we want, and we also talked about this, is to review your financials regularly. So this can be a weekly basis or a monthly basis. It's really just taking a few minutes each week. That is our goal, to review your income, your expenses, and any upcoming bills that may arise, just to make sure that you don't meet any costly surprises. So this will help you catch issues as soon as possible. Maybe you have a payment that's overdue. Maybe you're paying twice for a subscription by accident. Maybe you have an invoice that didn't go out to one of your customers. You want to always keep an eye on what is happening in terms of your finances. So just again, having that habit is such a great way to make sure that you're on track. And again, having a tool that does it automatically for you will really help you stay on track in such a better and easier way, and also much more time saving. So taking all of these small actions will really add up over time and help you build that strong financial foundation to help you reach your bigger financial goals.
Yeah. We're about to end our this webinar. We will say again, you have a free trial for the invoicing and bookkeeping platform with Taylor Brands. Just log into your Taylor Brands account, and on the left toolbar, you can just click on invoicing and bookkeeping. You also have the spreadsheets that we send here for you for free. You can play around with them and see how this works out for you. I really recommend making it a habit of, as Adi said, working on your finances from day one of your business, just so you get into a habit of doing that. Because when you have one client or two clients, it's easy. But once your business expands, it can get extremely challenging and confusing, and we don't want to make mistakes with our finances. So again, you have the free tools that we sent to you today. You have this free trial. And of course, we have our Taylor Brand support team. If there's anything that you'd like to know or you'd like to ask, again, you'll have a recording of this webinar. It will be sent to you tomorrow, with all of the files attached, all of the spreadsheets attached to it. So you can definitely enjoy watching this webinar again or revisiting if you had any specific questions. And we will do a quick recap. So feel free to download the cash flow and budget templates that we went over today. The cash flow was important to know where your business is standing, and the budget is important to help you track where you want to be and adjust your pricing, your marketing efforts according to where you want to be with your business. Schedule weekly or monthly check-in on your finances. A lot of times, for me personally, if it's not in my calendar, it's not gonna happen. Um,
Definitely.
so I highly recommend, on a personal note, just schedule a specific time of week that you're going over your finances. It will also keep you motivated to keep working on your business. And implement at least one small change, like invoicing sooner or setting aside a small reserve in the next week. Setting apart those, like doing those small steps can definitely help with your long-term business. So yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Adi. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Um, I don't think so. Just we're looking forward for you guys to try out the invoices and bookkeeping tool. Give it a try. There's so many different functions and options that we didn't even get the chance or the time to go over. generate different reports, and be ready for tax season. There's so much where it can help you, and um, we hope you enjoy it. Feel free to reach out, as Andy said, to our support team if you have any questions about our invoices and bookkeeping tool. And we look forward to seeing you all in the next session. Keep an eye out on any emails that come out regarding it sometime next month. And we'll see y'all next time.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. We appreciate your time and I'm proud of you for
Yeah.
taking charge of your finances. That's important. Way to go, guys.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you. It was a pleasure as always.